Saral Japani, Japanese learning made easy. Konnichiwa minasan. Hey friends, how are you? Welcome to Saral Japan YouTube channel. This is a place where we talk about Japan and Japanese. And this is the series called Japanese Lessons for Beginners. Today we are at lesson 121 and today we are going to discuss about the very special way of greeting in Japanese, which is the Japanese bow, or it is called Ojigi in Japanese. Friends, when we learn a language, we not only learn the language grammatically, but also we must understand the culture of that place, the traditions, the etiquette, the customs, and the society as a whole. And that is the reason why we, from time to time, keep learning about the etiquette and culture of Japan. And today's episode is going to feature one of the most important etiquette, the Japanese bow. So let's look into the lesson, what we have, and learn more about the famous Japanese bow, which is called Ojigi in Japanese. Ojigi, the Japanese bow. Bowing, or Ojigi as it is called in Japanese, is one of the most visible and deeply rooted gestures in Japanese culture. More than a simple greeting, it reflects centuries of social values, including respect, humility, gratitude, and harmonious interpersonal relations. So, this is very, very deep rooted in their culture, and it not only depicts the respect one has for the person who is standing in front of him, but also this is a way of conveying thanks and also apologizing as well, as we will see later in this video. The way a person bows communicates subtle nuances about their feelings, their status relative to the other person, and the context of the interaction. So, as I said, it can be out of respect, it can be out of humility or gratitude, it can be out of appreciation or acknowledgement, and it can also be because of the apology. A Japanese bow is performed with the back straight, arms at the sides for men, or hands folded neatly in front, often for women, and eyes lowered. So, this is the body language basically. This is the gesture that one must follow while performing a Japanese bow. So, for a man, the hands must be straight vertically, touching his pants on both sides. Hands should not be up in the air. And for women also it's the same, but for women the hands may also be folded neatly in front. That means near the center of the waist. And eyes should always look towards the ground when you bow. The bending motion originates from the waist, not the neck, conveying sincerity and discipline. So you should not like just move the neck as we do usually to say someone hi or hello, but the Japanese bow is from the waist and not only from the neck. So this is very, very important to note. Feet remain together, forming a balanced posture that signals honesty and composure. So the feet cannot be separated, or it cannot be placed wide apart or apart. In fact, they should be very, very close and very, very, they should remain together, in fact. And the overall body gesture, like all these 3 points, forms a balanced posture, and this kind of posture indicates your honesty, your sincerity, your composure, and the purpose for which you are bowing in front of the other person. So let's start with different types of bowing. First is everyday bows, that is the most commonly used bows, which is called karu karui ojigi in Japanese. So as you can see in this diagram, the person has bent 15 degrees from the vertical. So this is basically, if this is the vertical, or in terms of mathematics we call it as normal, and then this angle is 15 degrees. Okay, this is the 15-degree angle. So you have to estimate approximately what should be that angle, and this is the angle for the most commonly used bows in day-to-day life. So these are light bows used in daily interactions, passing someone at work, greeting neighbors, or acknowledging a small favor. So this is the most common one. Angle is about 15 degrees. Duration is very quick, often less than a second. So this is similar to the high that we say we just move our head or the neck, but in Japan, they do it from their waist line, and it is approximately 15 degrees from the vertical. So the meaning of this bow is it is a polite but casual hello, thank you, or excuse me. And the atmosphere, that means the situation, the scenario is friendly, non-formal, and effortless. So this is often used for friends and close associations, close peoples, which where there is no formality involved. It's common to perform this bow without stopping completely, sometimes even done while walking past someone. So this is very, very clear from this description, like why, what kind of bow is it, and what kind of bow it is, and in what scenarios and what situations it is done, and how it is done. So this is everyday bows, Karui Ojigi. Next, we have the category of respectful bows, which is called Keirei. So as you can see, the angle has now increased to 30 degrees. That means this is the vertical, this is the normal, and this angle is 30 degrees. So when you want to show more respect, then you have to bend more. This is the conclusion. So this kind of respectful bows or keirei is used in business and semi-formal environments. This bow conveys proper respect without feeling overly ceremonial. So this is a kind of balance that it maintains between the two extremes, that is informal and fully formal. Angle is about 30 degrees from the vertical. Duration is a steady pause, 1 to 2 seconds. So once you have bent forward, you have to stay in that posture for 1 to 2 seconds. And the meaning of this respectful bow or keirei is a respectful greeting, a moderate apology, or a formal gratitude. And the atmosphere is professional, courteous, and attentive. So these kind of bows are mostly done in official situations. And this is the version often taught in companies, hotels, and customer service training sessions. So this is more of a professional environment, basically. Now, the third category is deep bows, which is called Saikere. As you can see, now the person has bent to almost 45-degree from the vertical. That means, and as it is mentioned here, it can be 45-degree to as much as 70 degrees depending on the purpose or the context in which he is bowing. And it is the most formal and humble bow, conveying profound respect or sincere apology. Angle 45-degree to as much as 70 degrees depending on context. Duration a noticeably long pause, 3 seconds, or it may be even more. Meaning deep apology, gratitude of great significance, or gesture towards someone of markedly higher status, for example, a guest of honor. Atmosphere is solemn, serious, or emotionally charged. A deep bow is often used in moments of remorse. Business leaders, for example, publicly bow deeply during press conferences after corporate mistakes. So friends, I give you few examples here. Suppose uh, there is a technical snag and the train services are impacted in Tokyo or anywhere in Japan. Then their transportation minister, they issue this kind of apology, and while doing that they use this kind of pose. Similarly, if there is an outage, network outage of their telecom networks, the CEO or the CTO of that company also does the same thing. So this is basically this kind of bows is the consequence of a severe disruption in services or something that has caused a big trouble to someone. Next is the category of seated bows. So the ones that we just discussed were in standing posture. Now there are certain bows which can be done while sitting also. So performed while kneeling in seiza. Seiza, as you can see here, seiza is nothing but this kind of posture is called seiza. That means you have to just sit like this. Uh, this is the posture in Japanese called seiza, and these bows emphasize refinement and traditional etiquette. So this is more traditional. The bows that are done standing in standing posture, those are simplified bows applicable for modern time, but this is the actual traditional way of bowing. So light seated bows. Light seated bow is at 15 degrees, hands placed on the thighs as you can see here, or lightly on the tatami. Tatami is the mat. So as you know, we had discussed about tatami mat in one of our lessons dedicated to proverbs, in which we had said tatami no ue ni suiren. If you remember, tatami no ue ni suiren, this proverb we had studied. That means swimming practice over the tatami mat. So that is a proverb in Japanese. So I won't go into that. But yes, this is the traditional Japanese mat called tatami. So the hands may be placed on the thighs or it may be placed on the tatami mat as well. Bowing by bending the waist. Seated bows carry heightened elegance, reflecting their roots in older courtly traditions. But the meaning and the categories remains the same as was in the standing. So this is the everyday everyday bow category, 15 degrees. Next is the formal seated bow, which is 30 degrees, and as you can see here, the hands are placed on the tatami mat. So although this angle is looks quite more than 30 degrees, but this angle basically. So if this is the vertical line, then this direction, this is 15 degrees. So this is the one. So you should not consider the entire part, only the waist, like this angle. So this and this angle, this is 15 degrees. Sorry, 30 degrees. Hands slide forward to make a small triangular shape. So hands are placed together on the mat, and the two arms and their to this tip of the finger, it forms a triangle like structure. The torso lowers with precision. And the third one is deep seated bow. That means the 45 degrees now. So as you can see here, this is the vertical and this angle. So this angle is 45 degrees. So hands extend further on the tatami, forehead almost touching the floor. This is used in tea ceremonies, martial arts dojos, and significant apologies. And seated bows are called zarei in Japanese. Now there are, apart from these day-to-day and these popular or the three main categories, there is bowing in special context also. Let's see what are those. Martial arts. Bows mark respect for the dojo. What is dojo? Dojo is the place where the martial arts is performed. The sensei, the teacher or the guru of the master martial arts. Opponents, that means with whom you are going to fight, and the martial art itself. So the bows that they give, that they offer at the beginning of the performance, are for the respect towards all of these four things: the art itself, the place where the art is taking place, the teacher, and the opponents or the contestants. They are performed both seated and standing, often with synchronized timing. So synchronizing with whom? The two contestant, the two contestants, like the one contestant and its opponent. So both do the same at the same time. So they are synchronized. The next category of bowing is seen in Shinto and Buddhist rituals. Bowing becomes part of the prayer in such scenarios. In shrines, that is in Shinto shrines, the pattern often includes two bows, two claps, and one final bow. And then we have the business protocol. Salespeople, receptionists, and service professionals receive structured training in bowing angles, time, and posture, often using mirrors to perfect the technique. Friends, here I tell you one of my experiences in Japan when I was in Japan. So I used to work in a telecom company, and our customer, which is a very, very well-known telecom provider in Japan, so they came to visit us for a meeting in our office. That is, we are the vendor. So in our office, they came. And when they were leaving, the our employees, like the employees of our company, they went up to the elevator to see them off. And when they entered, when the guests, that means when the customers entered the lift, entered the elevator, then all the mm, uh, employees of our company, they gave that 45-degree bow, fully bending in front, and they remained in that position until the door of the elevator got closed and the elevator and the customer went out of sight. Only after that they straightened themselves up, and then they again entered the office. So this is the kind of this is the level of respect and etiquette the Japanese people have for their customers, for like in general as well. So this is unbelievable. This is really unbelievable. And whatever I am talking here in this video, I have experienced myself while being in Japan. If you go to Japan, you will also find this, and it is really amazing, I would say. Some social nuances finally to summarize today's lesson. Bowing is not limited to physical posture, it conveys subtle relationship dynamics. Like if the bow is much lower, that means if the angle is high, then that means greater respect or higher apology. Simultaneous bowing. People instinctively adjust mid bow to match each other's depth. Bow versus handshake. Japan increasingly uses both in global interactions, but the bow retains its cultural primacy. Smiling during a bow, whether you should smile or not. You can smile, it can be polite in casual settings, but very, very inappropriate during apologies. So if you are bowing because you want to show your apology, you want to convey your apology to someone because you have done some mistake, then you must not smile during bowing. So overall, bowing is a language of respect, which is quiet, elegant, and deeply expressive. So friends, that's all for today. I talked about the Japanese bow, the famous Japanese bow, and I hope this video has given you some kind of idea about how to bow in Japan. So you must follow these etiquettes if you want to be a part of the Japanese culture. Wrongly bowing also may be dangerous. So please subscribe to this channel if you like the videos of this channel, and so that you can get notifications whenever we upload a video. Till we meet again, thank you for watching this video. Arigato gozaimasu. Mataimasho.